Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Monday. It is Tuesday. We are looking at 14.6 real world relationships. We are moving along smoothly through our workbook. We may speed it up just a bit in future lessons depending on how I see everyone progressing. So we're going to be looking at patterns today, or relationships. We're going to be answering the essential question: what are some ways you can describe a pattern in a table? So you're going to have to describe what the pattern is, not only with numbers, what you're doing with numbers, either adding to the pattern or multiplying to the pattern, but also what it is that you're adding or multiplying, the objects. Okay, so let's do this carefully. We're looking at the question. The outdoor club is planning a camping trip. Each camper will need a flashlight. One flashlight uses 4 batteries. So one flashlight here uses 4 batteries. How many batteries are needed for 8 flashlights? And they give you the pattern. So one flashlight, 4 batteries. 2 flashlights, you're going to need 8. For 3, you're going to need 12. Are you seeing the pattern? 4, you're going to see 16. What are you seeing here? They're multiplying the number of flashlights by the number of batteries needed. So 3 times 4, 12. 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 4 is 24. 7 times 4 is 28. So 8 times 4, it would give you 32. Good. Or you can also be adding 4. Okay? Adding 4. See that? See how it's adding here? And when you do up the top one, you're multiplying. And notice here the flashlights, you're counting by ones. So do you see what we're looking at? We're looking at counting by ones for flashlights. We're also looking at multiplying the number of flashlights by the number of batteries needed. And we're also looking at adding 4 to the number of batteries needed. See that? Those are multiple ways to look at it. That's what I want you to understand. Okay? So we're looking at the pattern to complete the table. So as we already looked across the rows, you can see that the number of batteries increases by 4. We already said that. So for every flashlight, add how many batteries? Yes, 4. So use the pattern to find the number of batteries in 8. So you add what to 28? What do we add to 28? Yes, 4. So 28 plus 4 equals 32. So 32 batteries are needed. Now the key is this section right here. Understanding what the pattern is and what you're doing. It's not just filling this out. This is the easy part, but answering the questions related to these objects here. What is happening here in the rows? If you're able to describe, because that's what you're doing, describing the pattern not only with numbers, but you're going to have to describe what is occurring. So keep that in mind as we move along. So we're going to continue here with more analyzing what we're describing. So use the pattern to find the number of batteries in 8 flashlights. So we did this section here. Here's another way to describe a pattern, okay, in columns. So look at the pattern by comparing the columns in the table. Here are the columns. You can multiply the number of flashlights by 4, and we did that. We discussed that already. So we multiply the number in the columns by 4. Multiply 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And the reason we multiply by 4 because we need 4 batteries per flashlight. So if we have 7 flashlights, we'll multiply that by 4. So here's another pattern. So 8 times 4 is 32. Why is it important to know how many batteries are needed for 1? Why is that important? Malak, why is that important? Very good, Malik. Good job. Yes, exactly. It's important because that's what sets the pattern. That is what will guide the pattern. Okay? We don't know if we didn't know how many batteries one flashlight needed, we could not work this out. We could not work this out. There's no way of doing this. But since they tell us, so we could look at the columns, multiply that by 4. We could look at the rows, adding by 4. So multiplying, we look at columns, multiplying by 4. Or we could look at the rows, adding by 4. Okay? That's the key. Not only developing the pattern, but describing what is happening here. Okay, the next few steps here. Try doing these on your own. Pause the video. Work number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And not only do you do that, but describe the pattern. What are you doing here? Okay, so the first step is you notice you have the column and you have the rows. So for the columns, what is, okay, so good. Write the sentence about the cost of, we're figuring this out right here. But notice here, 1 pack of batteries costs $3. 2 pack of batteries cost $6. So what are we doing? For the columns, we're multiplying by 2. Okay. For the rows, we're adding 3. See that? So if we add 3 to 9 is 12. And it's true because if we multiply 4 times 3, it's also 12. So notice the columns. We multiply the number of batteries by how much they cost. And we also add 3 to the cost per pack of batteries. So that's your description here. And I'm going to show you real quick what it's supposed to look like. But first I'm going to try to see if I can cover it up for you here. So this is what you're supposed to be looking at right here. So for possible answers, we add 3 for each pack. Where we said when we're looking at the rows, this is one of the answers that we're looking for, because this is the description that you have. Add $3 for each pack of batteries. So add $3 for each pack of batteries, or multiply the number of packs by the cost by $3. Okay? So multiply, you can either add $3 for each pack, or multiply the number of batteries by 3. So 4 packs of batteries equals 12. So this is the answer that you're looking for right now. Just telling me what you're doing. Okay? So look at this as the guide to do the rest over here. So we already did this one. So work this one out and then tell me the pattern here. Describe it to me. What is happening? Okay? Do that for 2, 3, 4, 5. Try 6 also. And then pause it and come back to it, and I'm going to guide you through each one, and I'm going to give you what possible answers you would have here. But try it on your own and try describing the pattern. It's okay if you make a mistake. We're going to come back and have confidence in what you're doing. I know you'll do well. But like I said before, look at the example that we did right here. That's the description of the pattern. Okay? Okay, so go ahead and pause it now and come back when you're done. Well, welcome back. We're looking at these numbers right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're completing the pattern and then we're describing it. So I'm going to walk you through each one. So we're looking at 2. Let me put this a little bit larger for you to see. Okay, oops. I like to have it. All right, so we'll look at this real quick. So first we look tens, lanterns. So 5 tenths, I have 10 lanterns. For 6 tenths, I have 12 lanterns. So look at the pattern that's going here down the column here. So what am I doing here? I'm counting by ones here, but am I adding 2 lanterns for each tenth? So there's 5 tenths here, there's 10. This is how you start it. So I add a tent, I add 2 lanterns. I add another tent, I add 2 lanterns. And then if I follow the pattern here, it's 18 and 20. So that's one answer. Add 2 lanterns for each tent. Or you're multiplying the number of tents by 2. So notice 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. So you look at the column. What are you doing in the column? You're adding 2 lanterns per tent. Or look at the rows. You're multiplying the tents by 2. So this is what we're looking for here. So this is a 2-prong answer. Not only do you have to get this pattern here, but once you get this is what I'm looking for. Okay, let's try the next one. Again, 1 adult, 6 campers. 2 adults, I have 12 campers. 3 adults, I have 18 campers. So what am I doing here? I add 6 campers for each adult. Now I have 4 campers. I add 6 to 18, that's 24. Now I have 5 campers. I have 24. I add 6, I have 30. So this is the pattern here. And the description is adding 6 campers for each adult. Or I'm multiplying the number of adults by 6. See that? 5 times 6, 30. 4 times 6, 24. 3 times 6 is 18. So do you see that? Do you see how there's 2 different ways to describe it? So we could do it this way. Adding 6 campers for each adult. See how it goes down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For each adult, I add 6. Or I multiply the number of adults by 6 to get the total number of campers. Okay, let's look at number 4. Hours and miles height. 1 hour, 2 miles height. 4 hours, 2 hours, 4 miles height. 3 miles, 3 hours, 6 miles height. So you see the pattern? 4 hours. Yes, good. So here I'm doing something in the columns here. In the rows. What am I doing? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm adding 2 miles for each hour. For each hour, I add 2. Or I'll multiply the number of hours by 2. See that? 1 times 2, 2. 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 2, 6. 4 times 2, 8. 5 times 2 is 10. So this is what I'm looking for. We're doing 2 things. Okay? We add 2 miles for each hour. We're doing the rows. I describe the rows, and then I describe my columns. I'm multiplying the number by 2. So the next one, we have the rows, and we have the columns, cabin and campers. I have 3 cabins. I have 27 campers. I have 4 cabins. I have 36 campers. So what's happening here? I'm adding how many? From 27 to get 36? Yes. I add 9 campers for each cabin. Or I'm doing the columns. I'm multiplying the number of cabins times 9. See? So I'm adding 9 campers for each cabin. Or I'm multiplying 9 cabins, the number of cabins, by 9. So I'm adding and I'm multiplying. Notice each one has add, multiply, add, multiply. Hopefully you saw that one. I didn't want to point that out till right now. Hopefully you saw that one. Add, multiply, add. So that's how you describe it. You add and then you multiply, because repeated addition is multiplication. That's what multiplication is. Okay, let's move on. So describe the pattern here. Again, we finished this one. 4 canoes, 12 campers. What's happening down the columns? I'm adding what? Multiplying 4 times what? 3. I'm multiplying the canoes times 3, and let's see if it works. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 6, yes. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8 is 24. Or I'm adding 3 campers for each canoe. Or I'm multiplying the number of canoes by 3. Okay, and then fill out these answers. 4 canoes, 12 campers. How many are 7 canoes? 21. How many canoes have 15 campers? 15. 8 canoes have how many? 24. And then you just use this information to answer these. The key is knowing this right here. You have to be able to explain that. If we were in the classroom, we'd have a little game that we would play right now, but we're not able to do that right now, unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to having everyone, seeing everyone soon again. We're doing a good job with the instruction, with the live streaming sessions. Okay. Oops. Oh, so let's look at the next one. Go ahead and pause it before you look at this. We're looking at this one right here. Okay. So try doing these. Use this to answer 7 and 9. And remember, here's the key. Try filling this one out. It's okay. Use a pencil here. Here's your pattern here. And then we'll answer this one here. So pause it, then I'll come back to it. Well, welcome back. And let's take a look at how we did this. So we take a look at the first one. It says Jenna bought 3 fishing poles. Okay. You bought 3 fishing poles. How much money did she spend? Okay, so each fish here equals $2. So to buy 1 fishing pole, I have to spend this amount. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 pictures of fishes. Each one equals to $2. So that's what? 10. And how many fishing poles did she buy? 3. So 3 times 10 is 30. That's how I got that answer there. That makes sense? Okay. If you don't look at this key, you're going to say, well, each one costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I multiply. It's $15 because 5 times 3 is 15. That's the most common error that I see here. But look at the key. Okay. The next one. Noah bought 1 fishing pole. Okay, so 1 fishing pole cost how much? Each one costs $2. So 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 10. 2 corks. 2 corks again. How much is it? 2, 4. That gives me what? 14. And 1 carton of worms. So how much does the worms cost? 2, 4, 6, 8. 14 plus 8. Okay, where did I... Let's try it again. Noah bought 1 fishing pole. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. Okay, this is where I made the error here. She bought 2 corks. So 1 cork costs 2, 4, but she bought 2 of them. So 2 times 4 is 8. That was my error here. Yeah, that didn't make sense. And then 1 carton of worms. 2, 4, 6, 8. So 18 plus 8 equals 26. I'm sorry, that's a common error here. Because what did I forget to do? It was 2 corks. And the error that I made, I just counted 1 cork. But the error is, well, you know what my brain was thinking? I saw 2 fishes there. And each one of those fish, that's the way my brain was thinking. So it's a common mistake. It happens. So let's look at the next one. Ryan bought 8 corks. Okay, so 8 corks. So each one costs $2. 2, 4. How many did you buy? 8. So here's your multiplication sentence. 32. So what commutative property could you use? Well, it could be 4 times 8 equals 32. Or 8 times 4. Remember, commutative property just says we move the numbers around. So this is commutative property. Okay, so that's how we figured this out. But the first thing you have to figure out is to find out this number right here. Okay, and it's 4 because he bought 1 cork. Okay, oh, he bought 8 corks, but each cork cost $4. That's 8 times 4. All right, let's see how you did with this pattern here. I know when it looks empty, it looks a little overwhelming, but if you just work it real carefully, it's not that hard. So if you look at the pattern going across, okay, and they use 2 small pine cone patterns. Okay, here's a small pine cone patterns and 1 large one. Here's a large one, and here's a number of projects. What's the pattern going across? You add 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you get this one, then what are we doing here? We multiply the number of projects times 2, the number of projects times 2, and then the large patterns, we're multiplying that by 1. So once you have this right here, then you're going to know what you're going to be doing here, because if you look at them in the columns, you do each one. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. And notice I'm only doing this one right now, because I do one at a time. Okay. So for the small poles, we multiply by 2. Or the small pattern, we multiply by 2. For the large pattern, we're multiplying by 1. It's the same thing you've done before, but all they did was they added 1 in the middle. And that's all that's the difference there. Okay? And it looks a little bit intimidating, but if you just take it in sections. So again, to reiterate what you did, for the small patterns, we multiply by 2, or we add it by 2. Right? For the large pattern, we multiply by 1, or we add it by 1. Okay? The next one, the cost to rent a raft is $7 per person. Okay? A raft can hold up to 6 people. So you see the pattern there. 7 times 6. We get 42. There is a $3 lunch fee per raft. Okay. So there is a $3 lunch, so we get 6 times 7 to get the cost to rent a raft is $7 per person, and there's 6 people. So each person pays $7. We get 42. Okay. And there's a $3 lunch fee per raft. Okay. So you add 3 to 42. And that gives you 45. Because remember, they only have 1 raft. Okay. All the 6 people are in 1 raft. That's the key to remember right there. So again, you multiply the cost to rent a raft is $7 per person. So first you have to figure out how much it's going to cost to rent the raft. So if there's 6 people and it's $7 per person, that equals 42. Okay, and that's 1 raft. And draw the picture of a raft. And they charge you $3 for this one. And that's $3. So we add 42 plus 3 equals 45. Well, I hope that helps. Remember to come back the next day to check your homework and daily task assessments. And like any time else, if there's any questions that you have, we're going to start spending a few more extra minutes towards the end of our live streaming sessions. And if you have any questions, please ask. And again, remember, when you start doing your daily task assessment and homework practice, do the rows and then the columns. Find your patterns, rows and columns. So you're adding when you look at the rows, and you're multiplying when you look at the columns. And if you remember that key, the rest will be pretty easy. Take it slow. Well, good luck, and we'll see you on Wednesday.